Alright. Odd and even functions. Are you ready? Hello, sir. Just in time. Excellent. Get a clean sheet of paper. Oh my gosh. You know what? Don't even work. Alright. Here we go. Consider the following two functions. I'll give you a minute to write them both down. Give a little bit of space for work. I'd say like 3 or 4 lines. Right? So we're going to consider those two functions. We're going to find f of negative x and negative f of x. Alright. All that means it for the f of negative x is every time you see an x, just make it negative. That is x to the 4th. Oh boy.
Problem solved.
Oh boy. Alright. So, let's take a look at these two cases. Alright? So, if the first one for the first f of x, f of negative x would just be negative x to the 4th plus 5. Well, what's negative x to the 4th? It's just x to the 4th. It's going to be positive, right? Because I think to an even power would be positive. So it's just x to the 4th to the 5th plus 5 again. Brings you right back to the original. Joy. But negative f of x is the negative of the original function. So negative x to the 4th plus 5. What does that equal? It's just distributing negative 1. Yeah, negative x to the 4th minus 5 instead. Okay? Notice the only thing that was the same to the original function was f of negative x. So if that's the case, right, if f of x is the same thing as f of negative x, this is called an even function. And that's what we saw with cosine, was that even putting the negative in there, it came out the same as the original function because cosine is an even function. There it is. Yay! All right. All right. Let's try f of negative x. So negative x to the 3rd minus negative x to the 5th. What does that give ya? Yeah. Negative x to the 3rd plus x to the 5th. True? Okay. All right. Versus negative f of x. So the negative of that function, aka the negative of x cubed minus x to the 5th. You distribute, it's x to the 5th. Okay? Ah, so here's the case. What did you say? Hello. Where's the plus? Oh yeah, this is a plus as well. Yes, this is a plus. You're right. Thank you. Notice that these two are the ones that are equal. So for the other type of function, aka for an odd function, then f of negative x is the same thing as negative f of x. In other words, just pull out the negative to the front of the function. Okay? Yeah, that's how you tell tell the difference between an even odd function is you compare negative f of negative x and negative f of x. All right. In other words, and this is what Panay was saying. Here we go. There's symmetry. It's symmetric about the y-axis. The f of negative x is equal to f of x, right? For example, this parabola, x squared plus 1, is on there. If you do the negative x of that, that would be negative x squared plus 1, which brings you back to x squared plus 1. However, just because it's an even exponent or an even degree, it does not necessarily mean that it's an even function. Not? Yeah, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Does anyone still write this top part? Oh, wait. Oh, wait. So, if you're looking at that parabola and you know something about axis of symmetry, the axis of symmetry is at x equals 0, right? Because for the vertex of the parabola, the x component is at 0. True? Right? Parabola, h and k, right? So this would be like x minus 0 squared plus 1, so the h is 0 and the k is 1, so the vertex is 0, 1. Familiar? Okay. Right, I just taught this in Algebra 2. So if you took Algebra 2, you're good. All right. This one. Where's the vertex at? Other way. -1, 0. It's not symmetric about the y-axis, so it would not be even. Prove it. So here we go. This is x plus 1 squared, right? Which is x plus 1, x plus 1, which is x squared plus 2x plus 1. If you were to take the negative of that, that'd just be negative x plus 1 squared. So after doing all that math, it's going to be positive. Sorry about that. Oh, go away. Here you go. Delete. I'll just write it out. Negative x plus 1, negative x plus 1 times itself. So x squared minus 2x plus 1. Notice that these two are not equal. So this would be an odd function. Yeah. You got it? Okay. Here's what an odd function looks like. All right. So for an odd function, if f of negative x equals negative f of x, then it's an odd function. So this is an example of an odd function. So let's say that is your function. So to find f of negative x, it would just go negative x cubed minus negative x. Which would be negative x cubed plus x. Now, wouldn't you say that if I took the GCF of negative 1, that would just be x cubed minus x again, right? And isn't that f of x? Right? So therefore, this is just negative f of x. So it's saying is f of negative x, same thing as negative f of x. Okay? But again, just because it's an odd degree doesn't mean it's an odd function. So an example of this would be, there you go, x cubed plus 1. For you. Okay. If you were to do f of negative x, it would be negative x cubed plus 1, which is just negative x cubed again. But if you factor out a negative 1, it would become x cubed minus 1, right? And that is not equal to negative f of x. So that would not be an odd function. What do you want to, like, you want to do socks to it? You can, but don't need to. Yeah. Good job, Miss Craig. Yeah. Okay, so let's apply this to trig. Sine, cosine, one's even, one's odd, right? Let's take a look at it. Here we go. Does anyone still copy it? We're good? Okay, I'm sorry, I'll wait. You good, love? Yeah? Okay. All right, so let's take a cosine function. Okay, let's just start with cosine. Go ahead and work with the cosine one. So we're going to look at cosine of 3x plus 5. Yeah, sorry, I think Miss B did not apply it to the, there you go. Yeah, it's okay. All right. So just looking at cosine, don't worry about the sine for now. We can do that another time. For the cosine, f of negative x would be the cosine of negative 3x plus pi. True? Because it'd just be cosine of 3 times negative x, so it's negative 3x. Okay, that'd be calculators. Let's compare. Got it. Yeah. Here we go. Yeah, it is. Let me show you how to check it on the calculator. I'll show you. Yeah. So go to y equals, and we're gonna type in both the first thing and the second thing. So go ahead and type in cosine 3x plus pi. And then the second one, type in cosine negative 3x plus pi. You got a straight line. Really? Did you hit graph? You know why? It's because you're not in trig. So here we go. If you want to see a trig function, hit zoom 7. Zoom 7 is the trig window. Oh. Right? Now watch this. See that blue one? That's the first one. There's the second one. It's the same gosh darn thing. Right? Yeah. What? Uh-huh. And if you want to check it with a table, take a look at the table. Go second table. Notice that the y's are all the same. Table. Ooh. Right? Notice that all the y's are the same. So, yeah, yours are not the same. They're all off? Did we type in the same thing? Because this is what I see. Yeah. I don't know. Oh, good question. Make sure you're in radians. Would you look at that now? Yeah.
Oh, why did it work this now?
Right? Yeah. It looks like the heartbeat. Yeah. So if you look on the table, you can easily see that for cosine, the y values are the same, so that means f of x is the same thing as f of negative x, right? Same thing if you graph it, okay? You can fill out a table if you want to, or write yourself a note, check on the table, or check on the graph. It's all good. All right, what about, yeah. Here we go. What about sine? That's graph, man. Well, let's find the two equations. Hello, here we go. So sine of 3 of negative x would be sine of, yeah, negative 3x plus 5. Yay? So on your graphing calculator, all you have to do is change the cosine to sines. These things are so convenient. Here we go. Yeah, so where it says cosine, just change it to sine. Oh. Okay. Let's see the graph. I think that would be fascinating. Let's see the graph. You got a DNA screen? Or a heartbeat? Dun, 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 dun. Why is it so ugly? Aww. She didn't mean it. You're beautiful. Ooh. Oh, it's so pretty. It's so pretty. Wow. What did you shade them?
I haven't pressed that. What is it?
Oh, F7. No, zoom 7. Yeah. Alright. Yeah.
Why is
You have a headache? Alright. Observe the table. Right? If this thing was f of x right here, right? If this is f of x, then the other side is just the negative of f of x. So it's the negative of f of x. So for odd functions, it would be odd if f of x equals the negative of f of x. It's amazing. All right. Yeah. So lesson of the day, right? Yeah.
So, can you explain why we...
Oh, take a look at it. Okay, so here's the. I'm sorry, this is g of x. I should probably like make this. Yeah. All right. So it's the negative g of x. So here we go. So if you do g of negative x, it's the same thing as the negative of g of x. This is really hard to read. Hang on. Yeah. Go away. Delete. Okay. Go. All right. Here we go. Good old technology. All right. There it is. Oh, okay. Oh. was doing, but it's funny. Here we go. That'd be a negative g of x. Yeah. So, Mr. Mason, here we go. So g of negative x is equal to this, which is equal to, as you can see, it's just the negative of the original.
Okay.
Right? So it just made like a big circle. Yeah? Okay. All right. So, lesson of the day, cosine is even, sine is odd. You don't have to draw the picture, but cosine is even, notice the reflection on the y-axis, and then sine would be an odd function. What's that? Cosine's even, sine's odd. So therefore, ready? Yeah. So the cosine of negative, so the cosine of x is the same thing as the cosine of negative x, in other words. Okay? It gave you the same picture. Since sine is odd, then the sine of negative x is just the negative sine of x, like that. That is a identity, and you'll be using them to solve trig functions or trig equations. Yeah. Almost. We're like, this is part 1 is like graphing and some identities, and then part 2 is law of sines, law of cosines. Yeah, it's easy. It's shorter for sure. Shorter for sure. Yeah. Yep. Okay. So, here we go. Last but not least, here we go. How can you rewrite to identify the shift left or right with a negative on the inside? So let me give you an example. Right? So let's say you have cosine of negative 3x plus pi, which we just did. Since that's the same thing as the regular cosine, and this should give you the same graph as the cosine of 3x plus pi over 3, right? That's what we did in the beginning, isn't it? Yeah. You want me to, okay, you want me to bridge it? I'll bridge it. You want me to bridge it? You got it? No, let's bridge it. Here we go. I'll bridge that gap. Okay, delete. All right. So, if you take out the negative, the negative 3, then you would have cosine of negative 3, and then x minus pi over 3. Correct? Okay. Since the negative doesn't matter in the cosine, you could just remove the negative from everything, and that's the same thing as cosine of 3x plus pi over 3. Those will all give you the same graph. Because, let me go back, and I'll come back to this one, because the negative on the inside still gives you a positive no matter what. It's even. True? True. Yeah. In other words, right, if this is f of x, or f of negative x, this is going to equal f of x, right, for an even function. Yeah? For sine. Here we go. If you have sine of negative 3x plus pi, okay, when you pull out that negative 3, sine would be negative 3x minus pi over 3. True? Is that true? Yeah? And then you can just pull the negative to the front. That's the same thing as negative sine 3x minus pi over 3. Actually, wouldn't you have to pull a negative from both? It should be the same thing. Negative. It's all good. Anyhow, this is f of negative x. Okay? And then this is the negative of f of x. Right? And these two things should be the same thing, which is what we just talked about. Should I have pulled out? No. Yeah, it does. This one right here should be plus, right? Yeah. Is that what you're talking about? Yeah. Yeah. As you pull the negative out from it all. Yeah. Yay. Alright. So here's the deal. You're practicing this plus some of those basic trig functions. So you're going to need your yellow trig formula sheet. You have that still, right? And then this is just kind of, this assignment is kind of like, in general, what do you do with trig functions, plus odd and even questions. Again, next class, you're going to pick a partner and do a quiz. And since there's 21 of you, there's going to be one group of 3. All right. The quiz is going to be on sum and difference, double angles, and graphing. So pretty much all of that. There shouldn't be any questions on odd and even. Odd and even was just kind of like a study in what happens with sine and cosine functions. Your test is Tuesday, so the homework on Friday will be to do the review. We'll review and then take the test on Tuesday. Yay? All right, here we go. Yeah, that's it. Okay. Breeze. Okay.